Okay, so today we're doing a deep dive into something a little different.
Huh?
We're going to be looking at a parable, the parable of the lost son,
Yeah.
and we're going to see what kind of parenting lessons we can pull out of this,
Ow.
because there's actually quite a bit in there.
It's a really rich story, yeah.
It really is.
It is. And you think, oh, I know this story. I've heard it a million times. But, there's a lot of really good stuff that I think we miss when we read over it quickly.
Well, and I think sometimes we just think of it in terms of like, a son going astray,
Right.
and the grace of the father, welcoming him back.
Forgiveness, yeah.
But there's
much more in there.
Yeah, there's a lot more. So, okay, so if you're not familiar with the story,
Yeah.
basically there's a father and he's got these two sons.
Right.
And the younger son is like, "Dad, I want my inheritance now."
Gimme.
Yeah, like, I don't want to wait for you to,
Right.
pass away. I want it now.
Right.
I want to go live my life.
Yeah. I'm going to go do my own thing. So the father's like, all right, here you go.
Oh, this is a bad idea.
Yeah.
But okay, we'll see where it goes.
So the son takes off.
Right.
And he just blows through all the money, right? He's just,
Oh, yeah, he's living it up.
yeah, he's partying.
Wine, women, and song.
Yeah, basically.
Like the idea.
And then, of course, he runs out of money, and he's like in a foreign land, and he's like, oh my gosh, what have I done?
Right.
And it's really interesting because it says he ends up feeding pigs.
Right.
And he's so hungry, he wants to eat the pig food.
He's like, man, even the pigs are eating better than me.
Yeah.
This is rock bottom. Like,
yeah.
I think that's the point there.
Oh, absolutely.
Is that it's like, you've got to get to the place where you're like, wow, I really messed up.
Right.
Like, to use kind of a modern analogy, it's like the college student that goes off to school.
Right.
And they party all the time and they
flunk out, or they rack up a bunch of debt, or or they get in trouble with the law or something like that.
Right.
And it's at that point that it's like, okay, I've got to change.
Yeah.
I got to change. Something's not working here.
So he gets to that point.
Yeah.
And he's like, all right, I'm going to go back to my father.
Yes.
And I'm going to say, hey, I'm sorry.
I have sinned.
Yeah.
I don't even deserve to be called your son anymore.
Just make me one of your servants.
Yeah, I'll just be one of your hired hands.
Yeah.
Just give me something to eat.
Yeah.
Put a roof over my head.
Right.
I totally blew it.
Right. And this is where this story, I think, gets so amazing. This is where I think we really get those parenting insights. Right. Is that, so he's walking home, right? Mm. And the father sees him coming from a long way off.
Yes.
And just runs to him.
I love that detail.
It's so good, right?
Yeah.
He's like, he doesn't even wait for the son to get there.
Right. He doesn't even let him finish his apology.
Yeah. No, he just embraces him.
Right.
And, there's all this cultural stuff about, they probably would have thought, oh, he's going to disown him.
Yeah. Shame him in front of the whole town.
Right. Exactly.
You've disgraced the family name.
Right. And he doesn't. He just embraces him. And he's so happy to have him back.
Right.
And I think for us as parents,
yes,
that's such a good picture of how we should respond
to our kids.
Like, no matter what they've done.
Yeah.
No matter how badly they've messed up.
Right. And of course our kids are going to mess up.
Oh, yeah.
Right.
I mean, that's just part of being human.
Right.
And so to have that kind of posture of like, no matter what you do, you can always come home.
Yeah.
You can always come back to me.
Right.
I'm always going to love you.
Right. And it doesn't mean you're like, endorsing their bad behavior.
Right.
Right. It's just saying, like, you're my kid and I love you.
Yeah, there's a difference between loving someone and approving of their behavior.
Right. Right. You can love someone and say, hey, I don't think that was a good choice.
Right. Exactly.
But I still love you.
Right. And I'm still here for you.
Yeah.
And I think that's
such a powerful message for parents.
Yeah. It's so good.
Because I think sometimes we can get caught up in, trying to control our kids or, making sure they do everything right.
Right.
And we forget that, sometimes the best thing we can do is just love them.
Yes, absolutely.
Unconditionally.
But, of course, the story doesn't end there.
Right.
Because we got the older brother.
The older brother.
And he is not happy.
No, not at all.
He's like, I've been here slaving away.
I've been faithful.
I've been doing everything right, and you never even gave me a party.
Yeah, you never even gave me a goat to roast with my friends.
Right. And he's really angry.
Rightfully so, I think.
Well, and I think...
I mean, not that his anger is right, but, like, he's got reason to be upset.
He does have reason to be upset.
Yeah.
And, and then the father's like, well, you're always with me.
Everything I have is yours.
Yeah. We have to celebrate because your brother was dead, and now he's alive.
And he was lost, and now he's found.
And I think that's so interesting because it's like, the father's not saying,
Yeah.
like, oh, you're wrong to feel this way.
Right.
He's just saying, like, look, this is why we're celebrating.
Right. And I think it's a good reminder for us as parents, too, that, our kids are going to have different experiences and they're going to
Yes.
have different needs.
Right.
And we have to be sensitive to that.
Yeah.
And, we can't treat all of our kids exactly the same.
Right.
Because they're not all the same.
Right. They're different people.
Yeah.
Yeah, they're individuals.
And I think sometimes we can get caught up in, trying to be fair.
Right.
And, making sure everyone gets the same thing.
Right.
But sometimes fairness isn't about equality. It's about equity.
Right. Yeah.
Like giving each child what they need.
Yes, absolutely.
To thrive.
And, I think what's so powerful about the father's response is, it's like he's affirming the older son.
Yeah.
He's saying, look, you're still valuable.
Yeah, you're still important to me.
You're still my son.
You're still my heir.
You're still going to inherit everything.
Right.
So it's like, it's not a competition.
Right.
It's not like one son is better than the other. Exactly.
Exactly.
It's just they're both loved.
They're both loved and they're both valued.
And they're both celebrated in different ways.
Yes.
So I think, as we kind of wrap this up, the big takeaway for me is like, how can we be more like the father in this story?
Absolutely.
With our own kids.
Yeah, like how can we have that kind of unconditional love and that kind of grace?
Yeah, and that celebration.
And that celebrate. Well, yeah, when our kids come back.
Yeah, or even when they mess up, like how can we still affirm them?
Yeah, like how can we be there for them?
Yeah, and say, look, I still love you.
Yeah, I still love you and I'm still here for you.
Yeah, I think that's so, so powerful. And I think it's something that we all need to be reminded of.
Absolutely.
As parents.
Yeah, and I think it's a good reminder for us as people too. Like,
yeah.
We all mess up.
Yeah.
We all make mistakes.
We all need grace.
And we all need grace.
And we all need someone to celebrate us.
Yes.
When we come back.
Absolutely.
So good.
Yeah, so I think that's a good place to leave it.
Yeah, I think so.
Just that thought of, like, how can we be more like the father in the parable of the lost son?
And what would it look like for our families to be more like that?
Yeah, I love that.
I think that's a great question for all of us to consider.
Okay, well, thanks so much.
Yeah, thanks for having me.
And we'll see you next time for another deep dive.
All right, see you then.
Bye.